who becomes a better man having been a woman. And Sidney, no dummy, his ears perked up.
Dustin Hoffman has worn countless faces, walked in many shoes.
He goes upstairs, he's there for a little over an hour, he comes back downstairs, she's still in the kitchen working, and he goes back to the train and he hears, ah!
And built a career that spans decades, genres, and characters, from the awkward youth in The Graduate to the iconic savant in Rain Man. At age 88, he looks back not just at what he's done, but at the films that shaped him, movies he watched, rewatched, studied, and carried inside himself. These are the 10 films he counts among his favorites. Films that made him laugh, made him cry, made him think, and changed the way he sees the world. They are not just titles, but touchstones in a life devoted to acting, art, and truth.
Joanna, don't do that, please. Don't do it twice to him.
Thank you, Mr. Kramer. No further questions.
1. The Graduate, 1967. He often says this film awakened him. The story of a young man adrift, seduced, unsettled. A film that stole the zeitgeist of a generation. For Dustin, watching The Graduate for the first time felt like a mirror he didn't know he needed. The nervous energy of the main character, the ironic humor, the longing and confusion.
I get up in the morning, and then we eat breakfast, and he talks to me, and then we go to school, and at night we have dinner together, and we talk then, and I read to him, and
He recognized pieces of himself. He said the film taught him the power of timing and comedy, and how silence can speak louder than words. In his early career, he would rewatch it, jobless and hopeful. It became a kind of blueprint for risk, for stepping outside expectations, for letting a performance quietly ripple outward. 2. Midnight Cowboy, 1969. A gritty plunge into loneliness and survival, this film haunted him. The image of Hoffman's character, worn, coughing, stranded in New York, chiseled into his memory. He says he never looked at the streets of New York the same way after watching it.
If I were a woman, I'd want to be beautiful. Make me look beautiful. And they nodded and they said, that's it.
The friendship, the desperation, the unvarnished realism, they showed him how film could shine light on the underbelly of life. For him, this film opened the door to vulnerability, playing characters who are broken, exposed, human in the raw. He has referred to it as the best buddy movie ever made, and one that reminded him of why he got into acting in the first place. 3. Papillon, 1973. Here was adventure, beauty, suffering, and friendship all rolled into one epic. Hoffman's admiration for this film runs deep. He often mentions the scene where Steve McQueen and Hoffman embrace in the penal colony, a moment of raw humanity amid brutality.
Here we are in the age of women's lib. We're going to get killed. And then Murray Shiskel said something which resonated. He says, just tell me what this movie is about.
The contrast between freedom and confinement, hope and despair, it stayed with him. He says the film taught him about endurance, about character under pressure, and about the quiet power of connection. Watching it once felt like being plunged into fire, and somehow the lesson emerged. Even in darkness, light finds its way. 4. Lenny, 1974. The story of Lenny Bruce and the fight for free speech resonated with Hoffman on a personal level. He identified with the outsider, the provocateur, the man who challenged society and paid the cost. He's described this film as one of the great actor films, where performance is entire personality. Sitting in the darkness of the theater, he felt the tension, the laughter, the fear. He realized how acting could tackle taboo, how comedy could be dangerous. For Hoffman, Lenny became a signpost to never shy away from risk, to embrace the parts of a character that make audiences uncomfortable, and in doing so, to find something truthful inside himself. 5. All the President's Men, 1976. A leap toward political and social urgency. Hoffman sees this film as more than entertainment. It is responsibility. The story of two journalists uncovering corruption, of truth versus power, of quiet heroes at work, it challenged him. He once said the film inspired him to look for meaning in the roles he took, to ask, what is the story really saying? The pacing, the dialogue, the pressure, all of it sharpened his own sense of craft.
Redford and I remember Christopher Walken, they were all looking at me like, why is this ass here?
He remembered leaving the screening and thinking, this is what film can do. It can change how you think about the world. 6. Marathon Man, 1976. Fear, endurance, betrayal. The dental torture scene alone embedded itself into his cinematic consciousness. Hoffman calls this film one of the most visceral experiences he's had watching another actor's work. It made him rediscover his own physical thresholds as an actor.
Oh my God! Never!
Oh my God!
Never challenge the dream.
He watched it late one night in silence, feeling nauseous and electrified. It taught him that horror isn't always monsters. It can be inside us, in language, in betrayal, and performance that makes you squirm still holds mirror to something deep inside. That film made him recommit to the body of his characters as much as the mind. Kramer, 1979. A story of fatherhood, failure, recovery, and love. Hoffman watched it at a turning point in his own life. He recognized in Ted Kramer his own fears.
Is that too quick a Warren Beatty kind of answer? No.
But it has become a very legitimate form of acting, hasn't it?
His own hopes for redemption. The film showed him the quiet devastation of a father left behind and the fierce will to stand up again. He says it reminded him that acting isn't always about the big moments. It's about the small ones, the bed making, the traffic jam, the conversation at midnight. It taught him grace and allowed him to breathe humanity into his roles. Seeing it, he felt both the ache and the possibility. 8. Tootsie, 1982. Hoffman laughs when he mentions this one. His cross-dressing comedy turns social commentary. For him, Tootsie showed how laughter and truth can coexist. He admired how the film addressed sexism, identity, and empathy under the guise of farce. He says the role of Michael/Dorothy pushed him into new terrain.
Casting is maybe the most artificial thing that exists in acting. If you're a singer or a dancer, you audition.
And watching the film later, he realized how important it was for him to carry versatility, humor, and sensitivity together. The performances in this film taught him about balance, that you can make people laugh and still make them think. 9. Rain Man, 1988. When Hoffman watched this film now, he sees more than his own part. He sees the journey. He remembers the first time he saw the final cut and how the weight of it settled in his bones. He says the film made him understand responsibility, not just to the character he played, but to viewers who might find hope, recognition, or understanding in that character. The scenes of connection and growth, of brothers learning each other, moved him deeply. He often calls it a film that changed me.
I don't even want to bring Gene Hackman into it now because it could have been a three-way going on there.
Yes, and there was.
I'm distracting you.
It reminded him why he acts, to reach out, to reflect, to heal. 10. Little Big Man, 1970. A film on the fringes, a wild mix of comedy, western, history, satire. Hoffman loves it as a hidden gem, one that reminds him of the joy of exploring boundaries.
No, see,
I'm not even sure what it is. Is it a raccoon? I've always tried to.
I think it's a raccoon.
I think it's a raccoon.
Yeah.
Is it a raccoon?
The way it upends myths, plays with identity, mixes laughter and tragedy, it stuck with him. He says in his quiet moments, he returns to it for inspiration. To remember how to be free in his work. To remember that wonder still exists.
Never, ever.
Oh my God!
Never.
Oh my God!
Never challenge the dream.
It taught him that big stars, big ideas, don't always need big budgets. They need heart, curiosity, risk. For him, this film is a reminder of the actor he once was, the storyteller he still wants to be. These 10 films, The Graduate, Midnight Cowboy, Papillon, Lenny, All the President's Men, Marathon Man, Kramer vs. Kramer, Tootsie, Rain Man, and Little Big Man aren't just favorites on a list. They are landmarks in a life and career built on questions, challenges, and discovery. Now, as Dustin Hoffman stands at 88, they form the map of a journey, from curious young actor to seasoned artist, from raw ambition to reflective mastery. They show the way he learned, stumbled, rose, and kept going. If these films moved him, perhaps they can move you too. Seek them, watch them, revisit them, And remember that film isn't just entertainment. It's memory, fear, hope, redemption. It's life played out in light and shadow.